Welcome to Sports Buds Hockey Podcast, where two friends come together to discuss all things hockey and where everyone's opinion is appreciated. Please welcome your hosts, Merrick Zemp and Collin Simpson.
Hello and welcome to Sports Buds Hockey Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 25. My name is Merrick Zemp, and with me as always, my buddy Collin Simpson. How you doing tonight, Simps?
Doing great, Mav. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. You know what? We are officially 2 days now into the second round of the playoffs, and there's been some great games already. And if you're a Canadian hockey fan like we are, and an Oilers fan specifically like I am, it's been some good times. You know what? It's been a really good start and a really good thing. So why don't we start off tonight? Oilers in Vegas. Why don't we start off with what you thought would happen compared a little bit to what we did see tonight?
Yeah, I kind of thought, we did see more of the same we saw from the first series. We did expect Vegas to come out strong, obviously at home. They did finish. They're going to be riding a high, obviously knocking off the Wild. Edmonton's been known for their slow starts in these games.
They talked about it during the telecast. It was 10 out of 12 they've lost game ones.
Yeah, and so they don't usually start the series strong. However, obviously, this was a bit of bad luck to start out, though. There was a high stick turned into a 4-minute double minor. And obviously they scored on the first one, but then were able to kill off the second one for the full 2 minutes. So despite giving up a goal, they had a bit of life out of that. It's not like you got completely buried. Obviously, then another goal goes in, I think the second by Stone as well. The first one was off Stone's foot, kind of a lucky bounce. It took a couple crazy bounces, a tip to his foot into the net.
Yeah.
So you get down 2-0, obviously not ideal, but not unheard of for the Oilers. It's not like they're going to ever just put their head down. They've come back 3 or 4 times in the last series, so they're never going to think to themselves they're out of it unless they're maybe down 5 or 6. But when you're within 2 or 3 of any team and you've got McDavid and Draisaitl on your team, you kind of always feel, and now that they have a little bit of more faith in Pickard, I feel like they are rolling a little when they want to get going.
Well, and the thing is for them, they were down 2, but they were down 2, even at the end of the first. Right, it was the end of the first period. They were down 2-0, and then kind of had to carry it on. But you've got so much time left, and like you said, they got that faith in him. And one of the things that Pickard's really done is, even if he does give up a goal or two early, he's usually pretty unflappable near the end. The last period or more kind of thing, he shuts her down and goes from there. So we had the early goals from Stone again, like you said, bounce off his foot, and then an actual pretty good shot. And then they just kind of kept coming, right? In the second period, it was all Edmonton. I believe the shot total was 12 or 13-1, something like that in the second period. They were all over him the whole time. They managed to get one. A good play by McDavid. Nice pass to Corey Perry, who didn't just try and rip a shot, but danced around Aiden Hill the way only a 40-year-old can in pretty much slow motion. And but scored, obviously, did a good job and finished the play. And then they just kind of kept coming, and like they just wouldn't be stopped. And it really didn't seem like Vegas had any answer in the second period.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, the shot differential in the second was helped out by 2 power plays by the Oilers. I think they got quite a few shots on those 2 power plays. But it wasn't just like those were the only momentum in that period. It seemed crazy enough, and I don't want to kind of go back to the LA thought process. Vegas did look kind of tired. They a lot of the plays where they were just a simple chip out, they're falling down a lot. They were just, I don't know, like I feel like they're taking the same playbook that LA did. And if you're a coach, you should have watched that series and said, that's not the play to go against the Oilers. I get the fact that when you have a Leon Draisaitl and a Connor McDavid, the thought process is once we have a lead, don't give anything up in that neutral zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Always 2 forwards back, 1 only up pressing. That's it, right? Don't allow any neutral zone area to go through. Don't let them pick up speed. And so I get that. I understand that. But the LA Kings series to me proved that's the worst case scenario. Because what's happening is you're just inviting the Oilers to come at you. And if their cycle game is good, which it has been, right? So I get if you don't have a cycle game and you're just trying to break through the neutral zone, but the neutral zone trappy play is no good if the other team's cycling well, because they're getting the puck in still, they're getting on you, they're forcing you, and there's no offensive play. So even though when I watched a lot of the Oilers kind of errors happen again, some of those bad passes out of the defense or a little bit of pressure on them, they lose the puck. There was no Vegas night ever to capitalize, to pounce on. There was times
Yeah,
where the
there's
guys were
rarely a
losing the puck for
second guy.
themselves, and then the other Oiler would pick it up. There'd be no
Yeah,
Vegas goal
if
because they
one
would
guy
drop
knocked it
off.
loose, one guy knocks it loose, nobody's there to be the second
Correct,
guy
and
or
that's
the
what it was.
third
There
guy
was
or whatever. Yeah.
such a tendency to play so far back, they weren't able to capitalize, and the problem with that is if you're not jumping on their mistakes, then they started to get more confidence, and those mistakes started to happen less and
Yeah.
less and less. Like the defense looked even stronger. They looked calmer. They weren't making those mistakes. And now you get to the point of the game where you're tied 2-2 and you've created no offense in the last 15, 20 minutes. You've given the confidence to the defenseman who that's how you get your offense is putting pressure on them to get the puck. And then you wonder how it just continued to snowball downhill. So
Yeah,
I don't understand the coaching strategies there.
I think there was 2 Vegas power plays in the last period, and I think they had 6 shots total in the last period, or maybe the last period and a half, something like that, and 5 of them were on the power play. Other than that, they created almost no offense. Which, by the way, just the Connor Brown, he gets hit into the goalie and gets a 2-minute penalty for it. Was embarrassing. That was an absolute terrible call. It didn't matter. It didn't affect the score, but it's still a terrible call by the ref. He's standing right there. He watches the Vegas guy hit him, and then they hits it to the goalie. Like, I don't even see how you could possibly make that play. As you indicated, about a minute into the third period, Draisaitl scores. Kind of a weird chip goes over the net, and he banks it off Aiden Hill for a goal. And then they ride it out till 3 minutes left when Hyman rips home the game winner. And then a great, excellent second effort. Nice move by Connor Brown, who just keeps amazing and keeps dazzling these playoffs. And he goes around a guy, gets in, and fires the puck home to make it 4-2 and give him a little bit of a cushion. So really good play. Again, when you're talking about the cycling game, it's not McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's it. You're seeing it with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. You're seeing it with Kane, Nuge, and Hyman. You're seeing it with Frederick. You're seeing it with Janmark, Henrique. Like, whatever line is out there, they're all able to do it, and they're all doing it well right now. And again, this is when they're all generating, when they're all creating those chances and cycling. It's the exact opposite of what you saw from Vegas. Vegas, I had absolutely no concerns about their play or about anybody shooting or about anything happening other than when Stone, Eichel, and Carlson were out there. It was the only time it seemed like they had some pressure, the only time where it seemed like they were a little bit dangerous and could make plays and were moving the puck better and everything. Other than that, it seemed like there was almost nothing from anybody else. So if that's their line, if that's all they've got for offense, then that's going to be really tough for them. Even if they do have, like tonight, you got 2 goals out of that line between the power play and another one, but it wasn't enough because nobody else chipped in.
But even for those guys, they played their style in the first period. They were carrying the puck in. They were, Eichel would drive to the net, hit the third guy back trail. So one guy would drive the net, Eichel or somebody would carry the puck, and they would hit the third guy. And they were getting so many chances like that.
Yeah.
And then after that, they were just chipping the puck in. Like, Eichel hardly carried the puck into the zone at all in that second period. They would literally get anywhere. Now, don't get me wrong. The Oilers were putting more pressure on, not allowing his easy entries. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. But at some point, you have to take it upon yourself when you're at that talent level and just take on your guy just to get the puck in. Don't chip it in. No. If your superstars are chipping pucks in, you're done. If I was to watch Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl just chip pucks in every time they had the puck, the Oilers will lose that game.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about it. So, why do you think when your superstars are chipping the puck in that that's a recipe for success?
I got to say, as much as I absolutely, hate the guy when he's on Vegas, Mark Stone, the guy has got intuition and probably one of the best sticks I've ever seen. I know they talked about it a little bit in the broadcast too, but that guy, it seemed like every time a puck was near him, he's tipping it away. He's getting in front of passes. He's knocking it off the boards. He's just always, he's just got really good hand-eye. He's got whatever it is, but he just does a heck of a job. And I mean, going around him, again, you've got Eichel and you've got Stone, that not only are those 2 guys your most offensive talented guys, those are your best defenders too. So they're out there killing penalties and they're out there doing that stuff too. And as much as I think that there's a value in that and it's great that they do it, you also have to be aware that that's another minute and a half they can get trapped out there while they're killing a penalty. That could be 2 minutes straight. If it's all moving around, and then what happens is one of two things. Either you're wasting all that energy on the power or on the penalty kill for those guys and chasing, or the opposite side of that is you stop chasing and you're just coasting around and you're giving them those chances where you're giving them more space, and that's going to open up for more lanes, more chances, more goals on the power play as well. So either way, I think that's a tough look for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with Vegas, I think they had quite a few chances that they could have maybe opened this up a little more than 2-0 in that first period. They had a few plays where I think they were overpassing. I saw a couple chances where guys had the puck in the slot, and he probably could take a really good shot on Pickard. He was kind of sliding the other way, and he would try one more pass to the side or one more play. And I get that when you're feeling it a little, you do kind of take those. But sometimes they bite you later on, knowing that you didn't take the shot, and maybe it would have hit a foot or gone in, or he's just out of position or a rebound or something. When you end up getting no shot,
Yeah.
and I think they kind of got by doing that a little too much. And then again, it just comes down to the strategy, in my opinion. I don't know why they look tired. I don't think they had any injuries or playing short like LA was. So
Not in the game, I don't think. Their leading
yeah,
scorer, Doriev, he's out. So he got
correct.
35 this year.
But I
So
mean, just for
there's a bit of that,
numbers,
but
so
no, in the
that'd be a
actual
talent
game.
level. Yeah, so like that's a talent level down, not really. It shouldn't be a fitness level down.
No,
It
you've
just
got all the
seems like right
bodies,
now the
same number of
Oilers
bodies.
feel like and both series so far, the fitness level has just been higher. So when you're getting into these run and gun games with them, they can keep it going longer than the team against them.
Mhm.
And, if they can continue to do that and they have that fitness level, it's just going to continue to help them as they go further and further into these playoffs, because each team you play next is just going to be that more tired.
Well, and especially you're looking at a couple teams on the other bracket, like assuming they got by Vegas. The other guys are already 2 7-game series in and hard fought 7-game series.
And both
So
older
you're already
teams.
an extra game.
Yeah, they're both older teams. There's also not a lot of young guys over on those other two teams. So they're going to battle each other out. And, just by the look of things, like maybe I'm wrong, but this is only game one. If Vegas can't keep it going past one period in game one at home, what are we expecting to see the rest of the way?
I really feel like in this game, the Oilers proved that their four lines of forwards are better across the board. They were doing more every line against whatever line was against them. They were doing better, cycling better, getting more chances, obviously getting more shots, all of that stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that I hope that this is very much where this series is going, and exactly what we think is happening with it. That this is exactly how they're going to play. That Vegas has got what they've got, and Edmonton's got what they got, and this is what the game looks like. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Vegas will correct a few things. Cassidy's a good coach, so he's going to hopefully not do what Hiller did. As far as for Vegas fans, for Oilers fans, I hope he does exactly what Hiller did, which is change nothing and stick with the plan, no matter how it looks or how it's going. But yeah, it was a great finish.
I think what you're going to see in game two is you're going to see at home in Vegas, you're going to see a lot of pucks on net. I think this next game will be a Calvin Pickard type game, in the sense of, I think he's going to get 35 shots on him as opposed to the only amount he got tonight. So I think he's going to have to stand on his head a little next game to make sure they get the win. Otherwise, Vegas has a chance probably to get back in it. But I think because of the 2 shots in 40 minutes, 2 shots of even strength. The other 5, I think, or other 4 or
Something
5,
like that.
5,
4
I
or
think it
5.
was.
Five it was.
We're on the power play. 2 even strength shots in 40 minutes is gonna, you can only imagine what the coaches are going to be telling you, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to overcorrect. Now, will it be a winning recipe? No, I've watched the Flames under Daryl Sutter throw
I was
40
just going to
shots a
say the
night,
Daryl Sutter school.
right? Like, so I get the point. It's better to throw a shot than no shot at some point, especially if you do have high talent players. Then it's even more so better to do compared to what the fourth line of the Flames were throwing pucks on net. But it sometimes becomes, do you ever get any set play? Do you ever keep the Oilers hemmed in for a while? Because just taking shots and there's 3 shots, that's great. But you didn't force the defenders to defend. They just goalie made a couple saves, they take off the other direction, right? So you're not really sustaining any play where you're like, okay, Connor McDavid didn't touch the puck this time on this ice because we had it the whole time. Instead, we just took 2 quick shots, and Connor's on the ice, and they get the puck back, and now
Yeah.
Connor gets at least one chance to go down the ice with the puck.
Stepped over the blue line, ripped a wrist shot at the goalie, who saw it the whole way. Like, there's no chance of scoring that. Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I think I could see that happening too. That they're going to push for him, make sure and put those pucks on net, especially your third and fourth liners. Just get it to the net. Try to create rebounds, try to make chances, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you might see Pickard kind of coming out and challenging a lot, and getting used to some of those, but he may also get beat with a couple of where they do actually come off his pad or a good slap pass or something like that, right? Like the Stone goal at the beginning. I think he corrected for the tip, and then it was still going wide when it hit Stone's skate. So I think he kind of had it, but yeah, it's one of those things. But I hope that I hope we continue to see the same thing. I hope even if they come out strong and whatever, I think Edmonton will be better poised to handle it. And I hope that Edmonton does what they did against LA in LA, which is come out and put that kind of effort. Like, what if they shut them down? What if they put them down to 10 shots total in the game? Period. So even if they score on a couple, you get your own 35, 40 shots. You'll get your 2, 3, 4 and walk away with it again with a 4-2 win. I'll take that all day long. So let's hope that they continue to play the way they have so that we can keep cheering them on, Simps.
When's game 2?
Thursday.
On Thursday?
Every couple days. Yeah, it's pretty much every 2 days, I think, all the way for this series. I have to double check, but it's Thursday, Saturday, Monday. Yeah, like all those are pretty much for sure. So
I remember back in the day, I used to love it growing up, doing the Whales one night, Campbell's the other night.
Oh, man.
Always made it so easy to tell which games were coming up.
So good. Like, just guaranteed. Before they had so many, like, combo buildings and all that stuff. So it was just, yeah, everybody had their own. Here's what the schedule is going to be. It's not worried about their basketball team playing the night before or the day of or, yeah. So, yeah,
Right.
it was
Well,
so
we've
good.
obviously hit my quota of time to talk about the Oilers before I cry.
Yeah.
So what else we got going on? Obviously, it's round 2.
Yeah.
A lot
So,
of other teams have started out.
well, let's go with the other Canadian team that's played already. So it was Toronto and Florida. Obviously, some high expectations for this series. You've got Toronto coming in, obviously off a series win, so that's a big thing for them. Not everybody does it every year, I guess. I don't know. I looked that up, so turns out they don't. So good for them. Really happy to see them moving into the next round. So then they're playing the Florida Panthers. So a rivalry there. They played a couple years ago in the second round. In reality, I think Florida kind of had their way with Toronto that year. So they've changed a lot of what they have. They've added some more grit. They've added some more defense. They've added a lot of things. So its expectations are it's going to be a better series this year. So first game, what do we see, Simps?
Well, we saw a pretty high-scoring game, obviously. We had a little bit of controversy in, I think, Bennett taking out the goaltender for Toronto. So I think he's injured. We don't know how long. So Joseph Woll came in, had a pretty good game, made 17 saves, which is great. But I think it was a secondary staff, I like to call it, I guess, for Toronto that's got it done, though.
Yeah.
Willie always good in the playoffs, let's be honest. Like, so for the amount of time I listen to people talk about, do you sign Willie or not, or is he overpaid? Come on, he's the one guy that every single playoffs for Toronto shows up. And once again, he did again this game. And then the secondary stat, like, this Matthew Nice kid is good. Like, they're so lucky they didn't move him when there was talk about, what prospects can you move on to bring in one more stud to put you over over the lip? No, man, like, this Matthew Nice kid is good every single game I watch him play. And so, Marner, I didn't catch the game, but Marner 1 assist, and then, tactically Austin Matthews got some normally gets his shots, but was irrelevant on the score sheet. So
yeah.
But they did get the win, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. They're at home. They held the home ice for the first game. I still had them. I have them picked to win. But obviously, these are going to be some tough games. Florida's not exactly a team to lie down.
No, and even in that game, and actually even right all the way to the end, you saw Kachuk kind of going after Marner a little bit at the end and whatever, just doing Kachuk type things. What's your call on the hit with Bennett? Like, the fact is, it didn't look it didn't look like he really caught him too much, but it definitely looked like he gave him a bit of a forearm, an elbow, in a, oh, there's nothing I could do about it kind of way that Bennett does. But at the same time, he got Stolarz got drilled in the head with a shot like 5 minutes before that. So I don't know how much that had. Was it two in a couple minutes? So that's why it was worse. Like, was he already feeling the effects? Like they were talking about a little bit how, he was shaking his head after getting the shot in the face mask. And then again, obviously once Bennett hit, went down and was holding his head. Then he played another 10 minutes. Like, yeah, I don't know if they just didn't make the right calls with him as well, or if it would have maybe helped if they'd have pulled him right away. I mean, what's your thought? Do you think Bennett was? I mean, was it intentional? He was going to make contact 100%. Did he mean to injure him, or was there a big thing there? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think as always with Sam Bennett, he plays the line. Obviously, right? He's going to sometimes step on the wrong side of that line. There's no doubt about it. That's part of his game. That's what he's asked to do. Um, Does he maybe mean to contact? I think every player means to contact the goalie a little in the playoffs. There's no such thing as guys going right at the goalie and doesn't leave a little extra in. Definitely don't think he meant to injure him. As Bennett said in a news conference, he's one of his actual off-ice buddies, right?
Yeah,
He literally
he was in
reached out to
Florida
him at the
last year.
hospital. He's known him for a long time. It's like, I don't think he meant to injure him by no means. I don't think in any sport, we've all played against our friends in sports, and yet we take it seriously when we're on the field or ice or whatever you're playing. But at the end of the day, you don't want to see them injured. You may want to, give them a little extra shot to rough them up a little or, rattle them a little, but you're not trying to injure them. Unfortunately, it is what happens in this. You'll see it happen in almost every series. There's going to be at least one or two times where a guy slightly gets bumped from the other team and you do this big fall right on the goalie, and then you take forever to get up off the goalie when you could easily get up. All of a sudden you're the worst person ever on skates and you can't get off the ground somehow. But so I get it. That's what they're trying to do, but I don't think in any scenario
I
are
feel
the
like you're
players trying
thinking
to
of a
hurt.
name. I could see it in your face. You're thinking of
Well,
a
yeah.
name when you say that.
We all know who did it, but I'm just saying that even that meathead isn't trying to injure the goalie.
Yeah.
Right. So in the scenarios, I don't think there's any intent to injure. Nobody wants an excuse to get through to the next round as well.
Yep.
Part of winning in any sport or any competition is to try to win it as fairly as you can and not have like any, well, you only won because you cheated. It's not as rewarding, in my opinion.
And the fact is, all of those things are, you win because you win. Everybody's got injuries. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got a goalie out, a defender out, a forward out. Everybody has, problems during the series. Everybody doesn't have home ice advantage. Everybody had an injury during the season. Like, whatever. There's always things. I heard it as an Oilers fan like 15 times over for the Vancouver series last year. Oh, it's only because this guy missed this game, and it's only because our goalie wasn't there. It's this game and the way these guys play. In a 7-game series, like Edmonton, Vancouver was last year, it was razor thin. There was overtime games. There was games that the goalie stole where it was the shots were 45-12 and they lost. That kind of stuff. So I mean, it always happens, right? There shouldn't be any excuses. So
I heard you mention the Oilers, and I maybe have to re-mention the quota. So we are past the quota.
if you have some chance series where the Maple Leafs manage to hang in there and win in 7, you go ahead and tell me, and we can talk about that one as an example.
One of the big scenarios, obviously, in this game too was, you always have for the Florida Panthers, you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in the net, and either you get Conn Smythe, Vezina winning Sergei Bobrovsky sometimes, or you get a guy who probably should have retired.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Florida in game 1, they got the guy who probably should have retired.
He had some good saves, though, too. I mean, I think Toronto played really well for a lot of the game, but they also didn't give up, Florida, right? They kept coming back, and the Leafs kind of let them coming back into it. So you got to be careful of that. You got to make sure that you put them down and you hold them there because, yeah, Florida, they've got that in them, just like the Oilers do, where they've got the ability to come back when they need to. So they're like you said, they're Stanley Cup champions. They've been to the finals twice in a row. They know exactly what it takes to get there, and they fully intend to do it again. So
And there should be no excuse for the Oilers. The Oilers, the Leafs for
It's happening.
for the goaltending,
Yeah.
because Stolarz, yes, has been their starter this year, but the fact was, before Stolar's name was even mentioned last year, Wall was the godchild. He
Oh
was the
yeah.
savior who's coming in, who's so good, and he's gonna take the Leafs to the promised land. So definitely don't want to hear anything from Leafs fans saying, "Well, yeah, we only lost because Stolarz got injured by Bennett," and you're like, "Dude, the guy you guys said was your future
Yeah.
is now in your pipes."
I think it
So
was pretty even split. I'd have to check the numbers on the Leafs. Like I think Stolarz was the guy, but I think he started 45 and Wall started 38, like or 32, or you know what I mean? Like I don't think it
correct.
was
But
way out to
as
lunch.
Wall played it all in the playoffs.
No.
So that's what I mean by that, in
18
the sense.
days. I remember them saying it had been 18 days since he
That's what I'm
played.
saying.
So
So when I say starter, I mean like in the sense of who you're
that way.
starting with come playoff time, who you're riding until something goes wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
What else happened? Any other games?
One other game tonight was Washington, Carolina with the first game. So, relatively low scoring defensive game. And then Carolina tied it with about 6 minutes left, I think, to go into overtime. And then I believe it's Martinook scored for Carolina to give them a 1-0 advantage over Washington in game one. So, uh,
Sorry, I was going to say we did watch a lot of this game. I had the family out at Boston Pizza. A little plug for you guys there, Tree Living. So we were watching that game in the background because my stepson's favorite team's the Hurricanes, and the Capitals were actually up 1-0 pretty early in it, but it was shocking how bad they were getting outplayed. At one point, we were looking at the stats because I was trying to explain the concept of like shot attempts versus block shots to shots on net, and at the can't remember what point in the time it was, but it was 70 shot attempts by Carolina at that point, and already I think it was like 30 blocks or 20 some odd blocks, and there was 18 or 20 shots on net compared to like Washington's like 7.
yeah, when I saw the game tying goal kind of late in the third there, it was like 29-12 or 11 or something like that were the shots. So if they carried that play in, then it makes sense that they got the chance and ended up scoring. So we'll see if they turn it around. I've been saying all along that I don't believe in huge jumps. I don't believe in big changes from a regular season where they don't do well to suddenly they do. I feel like you seem like you got to earn it. It's why somebody who loses in the final get back the next year, that kind of stuff, because it just feels like you have to learn how to win, how to lose, and do all that stuff. I think Washington may be there. There isn't a whole lot of we were going to check, but I don't think we did. How many guys are actually left from their cup win? I would bet you're probably in the maybe a handful. If you're at 5, I'd be surprised. And if it is, it's a fourth line left winger, and it's a sixth or seventh D man, that kind of stuff, and Ovi, right? So I don't know anybody else that's really left from back then. So I feel like Carolina's been the second round every year and pushing hard and trying to get better and do all that. And then we'll see. And a
But that
plug for Stankhoven because I'm pretty sure he scored the tying goal.
but again though, that's kind of I guess my point with this series is, yeah, I get what you're saying about, most of the team that won the cup is gone, but it's not like they just, the cup was gone and they just squeaked into the playoffs. They won the President's Trophy. So it's not like this team can't play. They just did it for over
Winnipeg
82
won the
games.
President's Trophy.
Or what were they, like 3 points behind Winnipeg?
Maybe not even that many, but they were definitely behind.
But you know what I mean? Like, this is
Yeah.
a team that proved they did it over 82 games. This isn't a team that just squeaked in. What are they really? Everybody's saying, well, they won the cup 2 years ago. You're going, yeah, but that's a different team. That's not the same team. But this is a new team. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the only reason I went Capitals over Hurricanes is exactly like you just said. The Hurricanes are always in the second round. Always. But then they can't seem to get past it. And each year we think they're going to take that next step, and they really don't. When they get knocked out, they don't look any better than they did the year before, than the year before that. They look like the exact same team that seems to get to the second round. And then I don't think they're any better this year than they have been in the last 2 or 3 years. So do they beat the Capitals? Possibly. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But I just don't see either one of these teams standing out as a team where you're like, whoever you guys go against, I feel like the Toronto, Florida team smacks either one of them.
Yeah, I think I already said that. I think that the Stanley Cup finals from the East comes from the Atlantic. Whoever wins out of that series is gonna beat both the other ones. But again, we'll see who ends up coming out. And you're right, Washington did. They won a lot of games this year, so that means that they earned it. They've played well. They've done that stuff. So, yeah, we'll just have to see if they can storm back. I believe it would have been in Washington because they were the number one seed. So, um, yeah, they lost at home tonight. So we'll see if that goes. Couple, I guess that's two now. So while Toronto held sway, both both Washington and Vegas both lost
Yeah.
at
And the
home.
good news is if they have 7 of those games, 7 overtime games, it'll make me actually kind of interested in the series. Because other than that,
Even
I'm
then,
not very
nope,
interested in the
nope.
series.
Even then, I can't.
Uh,
I think we've already talked enough. I think we're good.
all right,
So
and then we got a couple series we'll talk about. They'll be kicking off tomorrow, I think.
just one. We're down to the final four, Sims. Don't forget, I'll bring up that diagram of the bracket again so you can see how many series are going. So yeah, we are down to the final four. So tomorrow is Winnipeg and Dallas, and then I think Toronto and Florida will go again for game two.
Game
So
2. Okay.
yeah, so they started a little bit earlier because they didn't go to 7. So, but yeah, we'll be able to follow that one and hopefully, if we can push for a Winnipeg win in that series as well. I mean, can you imagine 3 Canadian teams in the next round? It would be pretty much unheralded. The last time I think I read was 2004, something like that, 20 plus years ago. So, pretty
I,
incredible.
I'll be
And
honest, I'm surprised with that. Even I guess that was the Flames run.
yeah, yeah, it
So,
was the Flames. I think it was the Flames. It was surprising. It was Flames, Ottawa, and Montreal, I think.
oh
And
wow.
it's like, really?
Yeah, that's
That's
not what you'd expect.
no. And like, but they were a couple years away still from Edmonton going on their run where it
Yeah.
was totally random. And I think this was back when there was a stretch there where Canadian teams made it every year. Like
Yeah.
they were 04. I think 05 was Ottawa. I think 06 was Edmonton, but they all lost, of course. But,
Mm.
they all made it. So, but
All
yeah.
right. Well, hopefully this is the year.
This is going to be it. You can feel it coming. So, all right, Sips. On that note, we'll be back soon. The next Oilers game is Thursday, like we said. Winnipeg, Dallas tomorrow. I think Toronto as well, and then we should probably start settling into a bit of a rhythm. I think every 2 days for everybody. So we'll try to do the same thing. Get lots of talk back to you. Make sure you guys are all updated and aware of what's happening with the Oilers. So if you want to follow us or find us, www.sportsbuds.com. That's sportsbudz.com. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of your podcast locations like Spotify, Apple, Amazon, a little bit of everything. So make sure you sign up, make sure you follow us, and do all that. And don't forget to leave a comment wherever you can. Be nice to find out what you guys think. Tell us a little bit about where you guys are from, what you've got, and obviously, who the best team in the world is, even if you get it wrong and don't say the Oilers. So, Sips, I want to thank you for tonight. Really good talk. And I'm loving the fact that we can just keep talking about the Oilers every single time and not even really have to bring up that other team.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing I got a lot of national pride in order to get through this because I have to swallow a bit of pride just to keep talking about the Oilers this much in my life.
So good.
But
You love it.
we'll keep cheering, and I guess if Toronto, I got no choice. I guess I'm hoping for a Leafs and Oilers final, so I got to cheer for both teams that there would not be a chance I would normally cheer for. So
Yeah.
we'll
But you're
keep
loving
going.
it.
All
You
right.
just wait. This is going to turn you for real. You can feel it.
Nope.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget, follow us everywhere and have a good night.
Take care.